Hey friends, thanks for joining me here at Non-Toxic Home today. Today I want to share with you about what I've observed this year, 2020, in regards to the pollinators, beneficial pollinators. Now we live in a very rural area. I'm trying to grow food, not going so great again this year for various reasons, but I'm trying anyways. I'm also learning about foraging. If you are not already familiar with foraging, you're going to need to be. If you're in the Midwest, this is an excellent book. I highly recommend it. Go buy it. Check it out. It has been so useful for me. Our food supply is at risk for various reasons. Unless you live under a rock, you already know that. The 5G satellites, oh boy. Prior to April 22nd this year, the SpaceX launch, I was so excited about the pollinators. The number of species of butterflies that I saw in April was absolutely astounding. It was amazing. I was so thrilled to see so many different species I'd never seen before. Now, I don't know much about butterflies and I don't know much about their species. I can recognize a monarch butterfly, but that's pretty much it. I have not taken that time to identify them. However, there were so many beautiful, colorful varieties. I was so excited about the year. Oh, and then April 22nd happened. I went down, my senior cat went down, my chickens went down. My husband had some impact. He has more impact now that he's home more. But wow. There were also a lot of bees out before April 22nd of this year. I got stung in the butt once out there. That was not fun. But it reminded me that there's a bee there. That's a good thing. We want bees. Bees and pollinators equal food. Food equals life, along with water. I haven't seen but one honeybee since April 22nd. I've seen one ground dwelling bee. The wasp and carpenter bee populations have decreased, not nearly as much as everything else. There are still carpenter bees and wasps out there, so I'm not too concerned yet with pollinating my squash by hand, but I may need to because their populations are decreased as well. Of course, carpenter bees and wasps have larger bodies than honeybees, ground dwelling bees, and butterflies. So I suspect that they're more easily able to handle the radio frequencies that are assaulting us here in rural America. Now, our area is a bit of a tourist trap. It is a beautiful rural area. It's similar to the mountains, quite frankly. It's referred to as the Little Smokies. Beautiful, beautiful area. A lot of people come here, especially in the fall, but all year long, really, to enjoy God's beautiful gifts here. And the cell service is not reliable in general in our county. Internet can be difficult to get. So this is a prime target for a company that wants to sell satellite 5G internet. Most people do in this county have internet access, but it's not necessarily that high speed, such as broadband. Broadband projects have been rolling out the past few years in this county. We actually just had a visit recently from the broadband company, so I believe we will have it here at some point in the next 6 months. So why do they need satellites and broadband? They don't. They don't need both. That's a fact. And of course, the narrative is that everyone wants 5G and everyone doesn't want 5G. I certainly don't. If you've done your research, you don't either. Now, another pollinator, the main pollinator that's really concerning me, and that was just so hard for me to see recently, butterflies. As I mentioned, there were so many butterflies before SpaceX's launch on April 22nd. So many butterflies. I've seen 5 total since then. 5. 2 looked normal. 1 was a monarch butterfly. 2 were small butterflies, about yay big. They seem to be okay. But 1, oh man, that's an experience I don't think I'll ever forget. I don't know what kind of butterfly it was. It was black and white. It was like it was drunk flying. And I understand that butterflies go to and fro. I've seen butterflies before. I understand that sometimes it seems odd how they fly around and their flight patterns are very strange. This is different. This is different. I've never seen anything like it before. All I can say is that it was like it was drunk. And when it landed, it vibrated. It hung around me for quite some time. And when it realized, apparently, that it was better to land under me, it kept doing that. And it hurts my heart so bad to see such suffering. Unnecessary suffering. It's like it was having a seizure. It would rest underneath me, and finally stop vibrating. And then it would try to leave and fly around, and it would start to fly normally, and then it would get all weird, and it would come back, and it would be vibrating again. So it would stop under me again while vibrating, and then rest, stop vibrating, and move on. So I can only assume that I must have been blocking the frequencies that were harming it. Unfortunately, I couldn't just stand outside all day long to help the poor thing. Other farmers in the area, well, I'm not a farmer, but farmers in this county are really struggling. And it's not just because of the 5G frequencies from the satellites and because of the pollinators. There's weird stuff going on, friends. I was talking to one farmer who said that the squirrels and the turkeys were stealing all of his stuff, and he'd never had that happen before. I've been seeing weird insects that I've never seen before. Spittlebugs. I've never seen those before. Those are on my apple trees, which I just planted this year. We'll see if they survive or not. And they're also on the weeds as well. I'm seeing this weird white foamy stuff that isn't spittlebug stuff. It's something else on things. There's weird bacteria and virus stuff going around on the plants. Whew. As I mentioned, if you haven't already, I highly recommend you gain some knowledge on foraging and start dehydrating some things. I'm dehydrating a bunch of chives because they don't require pollination. Worst case scenario, I'll live on those over the winter. Not that I really have enough for that, but figure if nothing else. Our food supply is under attack, friends. This isn't accidental. This is not accidental. What have you been seeing in your area if you are impacted by the 5G satellites as far as pollinator goes? Are you seeing the same thing with beneficial pollinators this year? I pay a lot of attention to it. I'm here all the time. If you have any comments about that as to your experience, please drop them below. I'd love to hear and I'd love to know. Thanks so much for being here. Please share this in any group with any person who you think might benefit from it. Because I know that I'm not the only person that's noticing what's happening to our pollinators. We got to save the pollinators, friends. Save the bees. Thanks so much for being here. Have a great day.